Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Greetings and salutations, gentlemen.
Oh, my God. Look, it's the real Geoff Tate. We haven't heard from him in, almost 6 months. What's up, Geoff? It's good to hear from you. I understand you're going to play Lima in July.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it, but of course I have a great number of things on my plate.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you're going to have to unload on us.
First of all, a belated Happy New Year to you fellows. Of course, I, as a citizen of the world, I celebrate the Chinese New Year, but I'm even late for that.
It's the year of the cock, Geoff. I'm sure you're aware of that. I'm sure that, there's a special meaning for that for you.
Absolutely. And, what better year to elevate myself and to elevate my craft and to put my art into the stratosphere and just spread my wings, as it were.
Yeah, well, I think that they should just call this the year of the Geoff.
Absolutely. That's what we're referring to it around Shea Tate.
So where have you been, Geoff, and what have you been doing, and what wisdom do you have to impart upon us?
Well, I've been quite busy with numerous projects. Of course, my latest opus, the Operation Mindcrime release, the second one...
Resurrection.
Thank you, Christopher. I'm so busy sometimes I can't keep all the balls in the air, so to speak.
Well, Geoff, I just want to say, since we haven't talked to you since the release, outstanding release, sir. Outstanding.
As always, am I right?
You are right. Some better than others, and I would say this is better than others.
Well, some better than others, but none less than stellar.
That's true. I mean, and I'm quite sure. I mean, you're being the classy guy that you are. I'm sure some of the songs that I haven't liked in your past, those other guys wrote, not you.
No, I don't know what songs you might be referring to, Christopher. The ones that you personally don't like. That's your business.
Like Hotspot Junkie. That has to come from the Wilton side, right?
I thought you were talking about Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, no. Those are perfect. I'm talking about the other stuff, the old stuff.
That ancient history, that
right.
Dedicated to chaos. Those other fellows. If you recall the press clippings back at the time, all the band members began paying lip service and saying, this really feels like a band. Let me say it in their voices. Yeah, this really feels like a band effort, man. We're all collaborating and coming up with some great ideas, dude. And that was certainly the case, and I let them contribute their little kindergarten scribbles and their little, their nursery rhymes. But, yes, Hotspot Junkie is, I said, let's do something relating to the way technology is changing our ability to connect to one another as people and humankind's ability to relate to itself, and I come up with this Drek.
I knew that you couldn't have been involved in anything but just giving vocals for that, Geoff.
If I sounded a bit nasal on that particular selection, that was because I was close-pinning my nose as I sang.
Neely refuses to play it, but I am a huge fan of Resurrection. I like many songs on it.
Stop.
Yes.
What is this, Wendell? What is this?
Well, Chris says that I refuse to play it. It's not that I refuse to play it. It's just that, sometimes it just gets lost in the mix.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Lost in the mix.
But you'll play a whole lot of Dokken instead of Operation Mindcrime.
I was about to say, I would like to cable the motion that my voice is much stronger than his at this point.
Hear.
You want to listen his cigarette tortured rasp, and you want to play him instead of me? Me, Geoff Tate?
That's right. Yeah, Neely.
Well, we will ignore him, and I will continue speaking to you, Christopher, as though it were your program.
That
It's
is
over
fine.
your program, which it fundamentally is. I think we can all agree on that.
Well, I can.
Now, we all heard the program when you were away, when you were tending to the little wife, and Neely was going it solo, so to speak. And we've heard you hosting the show by yourself, so I think we can all tell where the true talent lie, and the taste in music as well.
Okay.
But be that as it may, let us put these petty grievances beside us. I'm sure Wendell will. I'm sure he will find the time to dedicate to Resurrection, whatever it's called, and give it its due, so to speak. Is that not correct?
I think so. The only song, Jeff, and I'm just going to give you my honest review. The only song that's a little questionable is Taking on the World, and that's because you had to carry those other guys, Blaze Bayley and Ripper Owens.
Of course, they've always been has-beens and never-was's, and I'm just having them along because Mr. Dickinson and Mr. Halford are no longer returning my phone calls, so I had to. I got sent down to the minor leagues, but I'm going to be called up any day now.
That's what I was thinking.
I was speaking to Neely. You may speak now. I was saying that you will surely find the time to dedicate to Resurrection. Is that correct, Neely?
I will find the time to dedicate to Chaos. That's for sure.
Good answer. But, as we've, Resurrection is already in the rearview mirror, as evidenced by the fact that I could not recall its title at the moment. I'm so beyond that. I have so many other projects on my plate. Perhaps you saw the news item yesterday. It was even on Blabbermouth. If you saw it on Blabbermouth, it must be true. They are not purveyors of fake news, anything like that.
Right.
I'm sure you saw me making my feature film debut as the star in a new direct-to-DVD release.
I did see that, Jeff. I was surprised that you would loan your talents to somebody that obviously, doesn't have the funding to properly do a project featuring you that should have at least 1,500 to 2,000 screens nationwide.
Well, that is the case, but considering the genre, and many people tend to turn their noses up at genre films, the way they do in genre fiction, but also I'm just getting my feet wet. And as I've said before, I dip my toes in first. I may live life to the extreme, but I'm also, this is how you start out when you're branching out into a different artistic endeavor. So yes, I am now in a horror movie, in a transgressive picture. Now, let me elucidate for your audience the nature of this project. It is called The Burning Moor Deaths.
Right.
It is based on true events. Let us put it this way: one of your reality programs. I'm sure those of you who are married, your wives like to watch HGTV, and your wife did too, didn't she, Christopher?
Of course she did. Of course.
Of course. Now you found yourself watching these programs where they, the crew goes in to renovate a house. You see all the ins and outs. If you'll pardon the expression, ins and outs. By the way, I heard the woman who's the co-host of Flip or Flop or whatever it is. I heard she's single. Speaking of ins and outs, she's newly on the market. So I might try to make that Flip or Flop. But as I was saying, this television crew sets up in this abandoned house to film the proceedings, and unbeknownst to them, the owner of the property has returned. I suppose he left or was evicted or foreclosed upon or something like of that nature. But he returns with his family, and under the glaring lights of the unforgiving eye of the surveillance cameras, he murders his wife and children. And that is the events that form the basis of the movie, of the picture. I must learn to now call them pictures and films and not movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure a lot of people are, and I am of course the star of this. I am the protagonist, although of course being a horror picture, this is more of an antagonist. It's one of those pictures that does not have a true hero. I am the anti-hero, as it were. I am the man, the man who dispatches his family to their just reward. And I'm sure a lot of your audience are thinking, Geoff Tate starring in a picture where he kills his wife and family. How strange. Is that not correct? Did that cross your mind as well, Christopher?
When I heard you were playing the part of James Parrish, I was like, that can't be. Geoff is way too kind to ever consider murdering a woman.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Christopher, because many times an artist, through his works, is able to perform deeds that he would never be able to perform in real life.
Okay.
Perhaps he is perhaps able to. Well, how would I put this? He is able to indulge in daydreams, which, were he to frame them as explicit fantasies, they would be considered taboo. But of course, this is a fictional picture. This is a creative work. He is able to indulge such daydreams, and think to himself, what would it really be like? He's able to carry these out as a part of a cinematic project. He is able to kill his wife and daughters and his children and all that sort of thing. And he's able to, it's a bit of catharsis. It translates to his real life, possibly, eases a bit of tension, as it were.
Right. So instead of just murdering the pussy as you normally do with the big black cock, you're going to murder for real with a wrench, it looks like, in some of the promo photos that I've seen.
I utilize a whole toolbox. Of course, this is a home improvement show, so I use all the tools at my disposal, as I've always done throughout my entire career. But, sometimes when I'm at Tate Family headquarters, and I'm, maybe Susan's ragging me all over, and Miranda is pestering me with stupid questions, the thought enters my mind, wouldn't it be great to just pick up a wrench and just swing for the fences?
Well, Geoff, this film was filmed back in 2010. Why has it taken 7 years to see the light of day?
I don't involve myself with all the business aspects of the project. I am a creative person. I have other people. I was simply brought on to play the part. I was not a producer or a director or anything like that. I was simply a thespian, if you will.
Well, we all know you enjoy lesbians, so that's not
Absolutely.
a stretch. That's not a stretch for you.
And as I was saying about the creative process, it was very interesting to immerse myself in that, and have real life experiences, with thinking those thoughts and letting my mind wander down those dark alleys. I don't shy away from any thoughts. Horror films are by nature transgressive. They deal with uncomfortable topics. But sometimes when I'm sitting around and I tell Susan to make go make me a sandwich, Susan, and instead, she starts lipping back at me all this talk about you've already, you don't need a sandwich. We're going to have supper soon. You already had lunch. You're getting too fat. All this nonsense. In the old days, she would run right off to the kitchen and make me a sandwich and serve it to me with chips and a pickle on the side. Let me tell you, Fred, when you ask a woman to make you a sandwich and she brings it to you with chips and a pickle, that's true love, my friend. Chips and a pickle is true devotion.
Do you think that she's getting her shit together now because she's seen what you're capable of doing in this movie?
Well, that is entirely the case. And, of course, this is, 7 years ago. A lot has happened. A lot of water under the bridge has happened. We've had our difficulties. I've had my career difficulties. Our marriage has been tested by many outside forces. Wonderful. But we are back on track, so to speak. Back on the dirt track.
Well, let me ask you, Geoff, now that your former drummer that was basically in Operation Mindcrime for all of 10 minutes, Bobby Blotzer, is without a gig, would you consider bringing him back into the fold if he needs a source of income?
Robert is he is a different kind of a fellow. He was interesting to work with, but you thought the guys in Queensrÿche were dumb. We really meet Bobby Blotzer.
Wow.
This guy doesn't have two thoughts to rub together, let me tell you.
Well, I'll take that under advisement, Geoff. I guess practical experience speaks best.
Is he smarter than Simon Wright?
No, Simon was a much more erudite soul. Let me tell you something. Blotzer spent much of his time playing Candyland with Miranda. And she beat him soundly.
Oh, man.
Wow.
But anything is possible. If I ever need a trained monkey to play on stage with me, I have his number. Blotzer, I've got your number in my phone. Maybe I can have him, bang on some gongs or something equally ridiculous. Something befitting his station in life.
Well, Geoff, looking at how this all played out, why do you think after seeing what a problem it was for you, with the name, why do you think he didn't follow your lead and just start a new project? Why do you think he wasn't capable of that as you were?
I just got done telling you, he's stupid. The man is a nincompoop.
Well, Geoff, did you know this prior to asking him to join your band, or did you learn this after you asked him to join your band?
Well, obviously he comes from Rat, so of course he's not any sort of a Rhodes Scholar. I knew that going in, but I didn't. I don't suppose I realized quite the depth of his ignorance until we got in a room and he communicated in mainly grunts. He doesn't so much talk. He's like one of those Muppet characters that goes me 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 me.
Was the draw to him simply because he, like you, wears hats on stage?
We did have a bit of the haberdashery was one thing we had in common. But it turns out that's one of the few things we had in common. I said, the first day I said, all right, let's jam some tunes, as it were, and he started going boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, bop, boom, boom. I said, hold on, now stop. This isn't going to work at all. Can you show me your paradiddles? And he thought I was coming on to him.
Well, I would have to say, Geoff, that the haberdashery that you display says, bring me a martini, or bring me some caviar, and the ones that Blotzer displays say, do you get a free bowl of soup with that?
I am Morton's and he is Ruby Tuesday.
Exactly.
Absolutely. I am Ruth Chris if he is Applebee's.
Well, Chris is Applebee's. And he's proud of that.
Only with first dates, because I don't want to spend a lot of money on them.
Of course. Let's get the 2 for $20, right?
That's right.
That way we get dessert, those darling little dessert shooters. Aren't they cute?
Now you're in my world, Geoff.
Absolutely. We all know that you're rolling in money, Christopher. You're a businessman. You got. What is the penny arcade only paying pennies?
I wish it paid pennies.
Well, that was all your idea.
I know.
Not everyone loves these silly games as you.
Yeah. Well, we won't get into that because.
Well, hopefully there's a new day dawning, and I feel a renewal in the works. With the new president and everything, a new climate coming. I feel it's morning in America, so to speak.
So you're for President Trump?
Absolutely.
Well, that's surprising. I mean, I've been to many a Queensrÿche show where you did not like the president.
Well, that was then, and this is now, obviously. And I got to thinking about this. I did not tune out the campaign as you did, Christopher,
Okay.
so as not to second guess yourself. I paid attention up to a point, and I said this, and eventually I came to the conclusion that all this socio-political theorizing, fuck all that. Let's get down to brass tacks, as it were. Let's talk turkey. And I think that Mr. Trump and I we are both connoisseurs of high quality boontang, and I think that's something that unites us as a people. All except you, Christopher. We all know you'd fuck a rock pile if you thought a lady's neck was in it.
Is that
Probably.
true? Is that true, Chris? You'd fuck a rock pile?
Hey, you guys saw the pictures of Rhonda.
If you thought there was a lady snake inside.
I think he's got your number, Chris.
He's right. I'm not denying.
He'd stick his dick into a meat grinder if he thought there were a few tasty morsels inside.
It could happen.
Very revealing, Mr. Tate.
At this point, I would like to announce my new single. It is a celebration of all things Trumpy, and it is called "Grab 'Em by the Pussy."
Very appropriate.
I'm venturing into an area that I heretofore avoided, what you fellas would call cock rock.
Wow.
It's invigorating. It's very invigorating, and I must say that it's getting me a lot of pussy so far.
Geoff, will you be performing this at the Storyteller show that you're doing the end of the month here in Ohio?
I'm thinking about it because I would like to espouse this new side of myself. It's my new reoriented view of the world that has taken place over the last campaign cycle. I think it would be very interesting, and especially in an acoustic format. Grab 'Em by the Pussy. It might be the next the logical step away from Girl from Oklahoma.
I see the potential. Do you, Neely?
I do.
Let me sing a little bit for you, folks.
Right.
Grab 'em by the pussy and squeeze it real tight. Grab 'em by the pussy, make it feel right. Grab it, feel it by the pussy till the morning light. Grab it by the pussy tonight. What do you think, gentlemen? A catchy tune.
It kind of has a throwback sound to it, Geoff. It's almost a retro feel, almost Tiny Timish.
Well, as a matter of fact, there is a ukulele solo.
See, Neely, you're on it.
I am. I'm feeling the vibe.
You're not as stupid as you look, Neely.
Thank you. That's a compliment coming from a very scholarly guy like you.
That's right.
Absolutely. Consider the source. As my dear mother used to say.
Oh, man. Well, this is looking like there's exciting times ahead for the Operation Mindcrime and the Geoff Tate camp, Geoff.
Absolutely. And I must say that, I've been, you haven't heard from me for a while. I have been in hiding, as it were. Not in hiding, but more like hibernation. With hibernation breeds reinvention. And through suffering, we grow as people. And after sequestration for many months, I'm starving for some pussy. I'm coming out swinging my dick. And another thing about this Trump administration that I find very encouraging, his measures may seem draconian, but there may be a method to the man's madness. And first of all, I wonder if possibly there might be a program of eugenics in store for us at all. What do you think about that, Neely? You're the Trumpkin in the bunch.
Well, I think that falls more in line with like a Charles Lindbergh. I believe he was into eugenics as well.
That is entirely possible. A great American hero, Charles Lindbergh, but he was a bit of a crackpot.
Right.
I am beginning to wonder, it might not be a bad idea, if we'd had such a program. I love my daughter very much, but sometimes Miranda gets to be a bit of a pain.
Why didn't you think she was your real daughter, Geoff?
Well, she is not my real daughter, but, she's been my stepdaughter so long, I sometimes, slip up and call her my daughter. But anyway, sometimes I wonder if we had eugenics back then, maybe I wouldn't have to listen to Mr. Geoff, Mr. Geoff, every waking minute of the livelong day. But, it brings about back to my need for pussy, as it were. It always comes back to my need for pussy. I love my wife very much. Susan is a wonderful woman and a manager, even if she, sometimes gives me shit when she shouldn't give me shit. But, there's a wide body of research that exists that shows that, to put it this way, the older the sow, the better the chances of giving birth to a poisoned piglet.
Oh wow!
So I need to spread my seed far and wide, but in as narrow a channel as possible. If you get my meaning.
Far and wide as 3 inches of skin can go, right?
Yes, but it must be a narrow canal. We're talking about what would you say? A battering ram through a tiny crevasse inside a cave.
Jesus.
What I'm saying is, I want the young stuff.
There you go.
Susan is great. Susan is, her snatch is like a comfortable pair of shoes. But sometimes you want to step out in some new kicks.
Or you gotta buy a pair a half size smaller than what you're usually wearing.
That's certainly advisable. When you get those brand new kicks on and you lace them up tight, and you're tying with double knots like a 6-year-old. It's a unique feeling.
You gotta walk a step higher. There's a little extra bounce in your step.
Absolutely.
It's as you put it earlier. It's like a brand new day in America.
Absolutely. Now just imagine that sensation in your cock.
Oh man!
Wow. Well, Geoff, you never fail to shed light on things that the average citizen maybe glosses over or doesn't even realize is right in front of their face.
I've dedicated my life to shedding light, to bringing awareness and enlightenment and enrichment to all walks of life. Everyone is welcome in my world, but I don't suffer fools. But you're all welcome until I get tired of you, until you get the fuck away from me. Leave me the ever-loving fuck alone, won't you?
Sometimes you got to take a break, Geoff, which obviously you did for a short time. But now you're back full strength.
I am back in black with a vengeance, and I wonder, some of your listeners, Geoff Tate is black. How can he be in favor of Donald Trump? I never said I was black. I simply said that I feel a kinship with the black Americans.
Down there.
I am not black. I am not black. Fuck those people.
Jesus. Wow.
I knew that would get a cheap laugh out of you fellows.
Well, because we're racist, Geoff.
Absolutely. As are we all.
Oh, my God.
Well, then, gentlemen, it's been wonderful speaking with you again. And, Chris, pop it till it's purple, and Wendell, do whatever you do.
All right, Geoff. Well, I thought, the fans should be, treated to something from your latest release, from the Resurrection release.
just as soon as Chris sent it over to you, right?
No, I have it right here, and I thought, this would be a fitting title to take us out of this. I thought I should.
I thought I heard you taking the wrapper off.
Well, I thought I would play this in honor of you, Geoff. I thought I would play some "Taking on the World."
That's what I'm doing. It's Chris's favorite song from the record.
Exactly.
And it has nothing to do with that queer Rob Halford and that song that he sang with his silly little bar band. That is simply a soccer stadium chant. Mine is a real piece of music. Now, it's not my fault that the two other fellows that I got to sing along with me are basically, they sound like the rank amateurs that they are. But that's not my fault. Just tune them out, if you will, and perhaps we'll release a version with some real singers on it.
Sure.
Such as, Ronnie James Dio, or, who else? John Wetton. People like those.
John Wetton. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Too soon?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It's not too soon, please. I'm sure Geoff is behind the holograms.
Wait. What does Neely mean, too soon?
I think those guys are both dead.
No, they're not. I just spoke with Dio yesterday. Hold on, I gotta go take my meds. Susan! Where are my bloody pills? I've got to go, fellows.
All right, Geoff.
It's been pleasant as always, and perhaps we'll be chatting again soon sometime. But in the meantime, just remember, I forget. Oh well, fuck you, pal.